Hey, it's Mike Brennan, and we're back with another edition of MITech TV, calling all sorts of things. In the old days, we called it M2 TechCast because Matt and Mike, but now it's, well, we call it whatever you want, but we're here. And so is Tamara Shoemaker, one of our regulars, and she's the founder of Cyber Patriot.
Yep.
And so Cyber Patriot is a program I will let her explain. But, everyone's crying out now about how we need more cybersecurity professionals, and there's so many jobs open. And boy, I'm telling you, when you look at what those kids can come out of these programs making, starting at 120,000 a year, it's a heck of a lot more than Matt and I started when we started out in journalism, right, Matt?
Yeah. Uh,
Absolutely. All right, Tamara. So I guess the first question is, we know what Cyber Patriot is, but why don't you tell the audience?
Sure. So over the last 20 years, starting out in academics, helping my husband with his Center of Cybersecurity, I tried to find a way to reach out to the next generation, right, and get some more folks into the pipeline. And the Cyber Patriot thing is in their 17th year this year. They'll go into the 18th season for next year. It's run by the Air and Space Force Association, put together very, very wonderfully. It's easy to implement. It's very low barrier to entry, and it's both middle school and high school kids that can compete after school nationally for national champions. It's very, very easy to implement because the AFA has gotten it all put together nice and easy in a little package for you. And it's also low cost. If you have a team that's an all-girl team, it's free. If you're a Title I school, it's free. And then it's just a low cost of $225 for the entire season, and that's for 6 kids to play virtually. And a teacher can have a maximum of 5 teams, so that's over 30 kids that can play and be immersed in hands-on experience in cybersecurity and protecting all of our infrastructure. And so that's the reason that I've been involved in this.
And I understand you're not only a coach, but you're also an author. You recently published an article in a magazine about the Fenton and Flushing communities up in the Flint area. So tell us about that a little bit.
Right. So it's sort of all it's been a very amazing year, Matt and Mike. I've been doing this for 20 years in cyber, always in higher education. For the last 10 years, I implemented the Cyber Patriot program, and it's starting to get noticed, right? So first, the beginning of the year, I was awarded from MCWT Education Woman of the Year for 2024. And then soon after, I got a notice saying that SANS Institute, I'm sure you guys know about SANS, right? They're the major certification arm there practically of our government, who are able to, the highly technical cybersecurity certifications, gave us an award of being the top 5 different maker award for our book that we wrote for cybersecurity for middle school and high school teachers. And then I was asked after I went to that award ceremony, a friend of mine saw the pictures and heard about it and said, "Hey, write an article for the Flushing and the Fenton magazines about your journey." And so I entitled it "An Overnight Success It Only Took 20 Years." And you were able to use the pictures from the award ceremony as the cover page for it. And so he's helping to sort of try to socialize it in that area so that I can get more Cyber Patriot kids over there in Genesee County and further north as well. And so I truly appreciate the partnership with him and that magazine and being able to get that out and get the word out, spread that word out as far as I can in the state of Michigan. So that's the main thrust for all of that work. Trying to get the word out, and not just in LinkedIn and not just on your show, but your show is very important to us. Getting the word out is very, very important. And so we're kind of doing it, community by community, right? So I go to anyone that will request a visit. I go to the different communities and talk to superintendents or school boards or individual teachers and talk to them about what the Cyber Patriot program is all about and how to implement it in their school and how it can help. I know, as you mentioned, Mike, that there are a slew of openings in the state of Michigan. I looked it up again today, and over 500,000 just in Michigan, right?
500,000.
500,000 just in Michigan. Now,
Jeez.
you and I both know that that they're looking for unicorn. They're actually practically probably looking for the unicorn, right? As far as, what they're looking for, because there's 50 different areas in cybersecurity. And so getting the specific one that a certain company needs is very difficult. And they're competing nationally, and people are, stealing people from each other, and all that kind of loveliness, because we just don't have enough kids in the pipeline, right? We just can't pump them out fast enough, and so that's the reason that we sort of double down on all of this and are trying to get as much publicity as we can to get as many schools on board as soon as we can, because it takes a long time to get these kids through the system.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, that sort of leads into the next question that I had, which is tell us a little bit about why you've spent so much time on this program. I mean, this is not a paid gig, right? This is something you're doing
No, it's not.
as a volunteer.
Right. So again, it started out just knowing that the programs that I worked with. So we built a coalition of community colleges and universities across the state that are all teaching cybersecurity, and they're all centers of academic excellence. And we've got 17 in the state. We're very rich in that. In fact, the folks in DC all the time are asking, why are you guys have so many in Michigan, And I said, well, because we're trying to compete. We have a lot of industry here that needs the service, needs those folks butts in the seats and to be able to be employed. So we need to have a lot of schools that are teaching it. In order to be able to, and then hopefully that we don't have the brain drain that we have where they're all leaving for, for the DC area, for California, for Texas, and Colorado. We need them here, boots on the ground for our infrastructure. And so it just seemed to me I had to find a way to be able to reach them younger and get them inspired before they start dumbing themselves down in middle school, and being too cool to be able to, study and then the misinformation too. So there's a ton of misinformation out there about this industry and what it takes to make it in this industry. There's a lot of information out there that just says you have to love math, you have to love coding, otherwise you can't be in cyber. And it's just not, it's rubbish. It's not true. There are some jobs, absolutely, you must be really highly technical and be able to reverse engineer things and that kind of stuff. But there's also ones that I could have where I just have a great personality and I can speak geek, and I can interpret what the highly technical folks are trying to tell management, right? And be able to make sure that you build those bridges between those two, because you don't get funding for all the cybersecurity things that you need if you can't communicate well, so if you can communicate well and you understand what policies and regulations are in place and all that kind of good stuff, you can make that happen. We don't have a lot of that going on. And so I needed to find a way to make that happen in the schools. And this is a really easy way to start them as a after school program, and then hope and pray that it catches on with the kids and with the teacher, and that they take it into and make it mainstream education in the school. And that's what is happening to the over 150 schools across Michigan that we've been working with. That's exactly what happened. They started it as a just after school program, and then they've integrated it into their tech programs, and are competing at the national level. So last year we had a team go to the nationals, and that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and as you're getting back to your idea of everybody, I still find that 500,000, there's only 10 million people in Michigan, but hey, maybe we need 500,000 cybersecurity folks.
Who knows what they're counting them. CyberSeek is my, and it's a really good resource for anybody out there looking for work in that area. Is CyberSeek is a very good reference for folks about jobs in the area for your specific, state, the universe, the whole. And then also you can kind of poke around there on their resources and actually look into the 50 different kinds of cybersecurity jobs and see what the knowledge, skills, and abilities are in each one of those areas. Because you don't want to be trying to go down and applying for jobs or looking at jobs or using the wrong category or job description in your own head when you're looking, right? You want to make sure, and you also want to make sure you have the right education and skills and certs and all that for the job too. So that's very helpful to go there and find that out.
And with the cyber, it's all these initials after your name. The more initials you have, I think, the better job you get. But getting to the point of the problem that seems to be prevalent, at least in business in Michigan and other places, is no one really takes it seriously until after they've been hit by a hacker. Then all of a sudden they've got religion. And at that point, if they're a publicly traded company, oh my God, they get in all sorts of problems. But even a
Yes.
private company, I mean, we had Dan Lorman on the show a couple of weeks ago. You know, if your site goes down and you're primarily an internet site and you're down for a week or so, what does that do to your business? I
Ooh.
mean, people will just say the hell with it and look for somebody else. So it's just, I don't know how much we have to keep telling people to take this very seriously because the
Right.
bad guys are very serious about what they do, right?
I think most people think about it like they do with car insurance or insurance of any kind, right? You know, it's like you said, they don't think about it until they need it, right? And then it's too late because they don't have it.
Mm.
And then, like you said, even coming back up again and being able to actually make it out. I can't remember what the statistic is, but it's pretty high. So I think it was like 40% businesses that go down like that don't come back up again, right? They aren't able to get back up. Now, thankfully, we've got a lot of good hot shots that are trained right now. That's their job, right? Is to bring them back up and get them back online. And some of the cloud, storage issues and things like that have helped a bit, for folks to be able to get back up. But again, it's about reputation as well, right? And people's public, and people's information. Did that information get out, right? Is that out there now? It's a scary world out there, and we definitely need everybody helping make this happen, right, together, because again, that's why we're a big push for all the publications and all the stuff that's out there as far as just letting people be aware of what the problems are.
So getting back to Cyber Patriot, the at the state level, local level, how is the season going this year for the team?
So we didn't, unfortunately, this year we did not get anybody to go to nationals. So I'm pretty disappointed. But we're in the game and we're growing, and so I know that we're going to do better. But so the end of the regular season happens at the end of February, and then there were semifinals during February, and then the nationals actual competition happens in March 14th through the 18th, and they'll go head to head there. The 27 teams per division will go head to head. I went last year because we had a Michigan team and it was so fun. Oh my gosh. Because these kids, they do it, all during the fall and winter, they do it all virtually. They don't know who they're competing against. It's just their PC and, a virtual window, a VM kind of situation. So they're not aware of what's going on in the background. But when you go to nationals, AT&T is there, IBM is there. They have a red team that's attacking them while they're there. If you're talking out of turn, like you're talking to people in your own group too loudly about what you're doing, one of the red teams might hear them as they pass by, and then they might come at you from some other direction. So it's a really cool hands-on, everybody, hair on fire, trying to put out all the fires. And it's a real good feeling as far as watching those kids grow, right? Because
Mm.
now it's not just about the machine in them, it's also about other people. So it makes it completely real, right? And feel like live fire that it should feel like. So these kids go out of there with work experience, right? And so that's the other really good piece about this program, is that they have that kind of experience. And then, of course, they get scholarship awards, and the people who come to that and support that are all looking at all those kids and watching those kids' careers start to get off the ground, and their education and stuff. And they're all there to support them because we need them.
Indeed. And so also summer camp, before we're running out of time here, do we got summer camp all worked out now? Or where does that
Well,
stand?
no, so we thought we did. So we were partnering with MCWT. They have their Camp Infinities, and we were going to have morning sessions of all Cyber Patriot all the time. So I was so excited. We were going to have 3 different venues, 3 different times, one in June, one in July, and one in August. And now that's all been canceled. MCWT is having some problems with their finances, and they've canceled. So I'm now back to square one. I've
Oh.
got those 3 weeks reserved, but I don't have, and I have a lot of volunteers, but I don't necessarily have the financial support that we had when we were working with MCWT. And
Ah.
so we have to work some things out, but we still are trying to hold our summer camps this summer. So if your viewers out there have a venue in Wayne, Macomb, Genesee County. We would love to hear from them. If we have corporate sponsors out there to help us get back in the game here and have summer camps, because it's so important. It both inspires our teachers because they get to come and see what it is ahead of time, and it gets these students there, and then their parents are all pushing for us to get more Cyber Patriot, teams up in the different schools. And so it's vital to the growth of this program. So I'm really hoping that we can get some more support and we can get this pulled off.